Hey, everybody, and welcome into a few email minutes on subscriber preference centers. I'm excited to have anybody here, talking about subscriber preference centers. We're going to do quick 15 minutes, talk a little bit about what they are, why they're important, why I think it's one of the most underutilized email marketing features or kind of strategies out there, and how they can help your brand with your own email marketing. So as always, I'm Jason Rodriguez. I'm the community and product evangelist over at Litmus here on the Litmus YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe. You should see that big red button that will allow you to do so. And this is one of those topics that I feel like is very underutilized in the industry and outrageously valuable. And it's a wonder why more people aren't using subscriber preference centers. So I'm going to go ahead and flip over my screen here so you can actually see my desktop. And yeah, this whole topic was kind of spurred on by two things over on the Litmus side. One, this article that Megan, my colleague friend over at Litmus on the marketing team, published about email preference center tips, how to keep every subscriber happy. And then also this kind of quick informal poll we did over on Twitter, where we asked whether or not people agreed with the statement in Email Marketer's Secret Weapon preference centers. 71.4% out of only, about 20 or so people voted that yes, they are a secret weapon, or no, they're not, versus the 28.6%. But it's one of those things that a lot of people in the email marketing industry say is a secret weapon or something that's like really, really valuable, but not a lot of brands actually use, which is really interesting to me. But kind of a quick overview. Again, we only have a couple of minutes here. But I wanted to give you the lowdown on what subscriber preference centers are, why they're so important, and how they can help out your own email marketing program. So again, this article, I'm going to put it in the chat here over on YouTube if you haven't checked it out already. And feel free to ask any questions inside of that chat as well. I'm keeping an eye on that there. But Megan does a really good job of breaking down what preference centers are, why they're so effective, but kind of starts with this question: why do people unsubscribe from our email marketing campaigns? And the two major reasons are that there are too many emails that they're receiving from a brand, or that it's really just irrelevant content. Whatever you're sending them does not matter to them as a customer, as a subscriber. And those are two major problems for email marketers, but those are two problems that subscriber preference centers are perfectly positioned to address. So we saw that, 51% of people unsubscribe because they receive emails too often. 49% of those would like to receive emails at a frequency, at a cadence that they themselves choose. And that's one of the main things that preference centers allow you to do. So really a preference center is exactly what it sounds like. It's a way for subscribers to set their own preferences for what they want to hear from you about. So that could be, how many emails they get, what that cadence actually looks like. It could be related to, if you're a retailer, have brick and mortar stores, like what locations they want to receive emails about when there's sales or offers going on. It could be topic related. So if you publish content or emails about a lot of different topics, then you could expose those on your preference center, allow people to choose what topics they're actually interested in. Or if you have a bunch of different newsletter lists like we do, then you can allow subscribers to pick which ones they're actually interested in. So I'm going to show you a couple of cool examples for some of the preference centers that I've seen out there that I really like and think they're doing a really good job for a couple of different reasons. Hey, Paul, I see Paul's on. Good to see you. But one of the questions is like, why are these preference centers so important, or like, what are the advantages of using them? And the major one is that it will absolutely work to your benefit for reducing unsubscribes. So most email campaigns have either one option or two options in the footer, in the header, wherever they put their unsubscribe link. One is to unsubscribe wholesale from all email marketing communications from that brand. And the other one is to update your preferences, and that'll shoot you over to Preference Center. But a lot of brands that aren't using preference centers, they just have that unsubscribe link. So you're not really giving anybody an option for what they want to do with your email. It's either hear everything from you or just completely unsubscribe and ignore you for the rest of my life, And that's not what we want to do. We want to give people the option to opt down instead of opting out of our email marketing campaigns. So preference centers allow subscribers to do that. They can go in there, they can tailor their preferences for your email marketing so that they're not forced into unsubscribing. They can opt down and choose just a couple of things or a couple of times a year to hear from you, as opposed to just completely canceling their relationship with you. Another great thing is that it does showcase your email offerings. If you have a lot of different newsletters, like Litmus does, we have a handful of them, you can expose those different pieces of content in those different newsletters, whatever that happens to be, to your subscribers. They might not know about those other things, those other channels that you use, but a preference center can expose those to them, which is an awesome way to get subscribers to other channels that they might not have heard about. A great way to personalize that subscriber experience too, because you can use that preference center to collect information about your subscribers that they're willing to give you. So beyond just their first and last name, their email address, you could get some sort of demographic information. You can ask them more questions about like what they do if you're kind of in the B2B world, stuff like that, so that you can use that information you gather from them to personalize that experience even more and create that more valuable subscriber relationship. And there's a whole bunch of other things, like it's, obviously future-proofing you against, pending legislation about anti-spam and consent laws and stuff like that. But I kind of want to, I'll leave it to you to check out this article and just kind of go through a couple of preference centers and why I think they're working so well. The first one, though, is kind of I hate to, pick on anybody in particular, but this one I opened up from an email that I get from a software company. They make some JavaScript frameworks. But when you click on your update preferences button in their email, then this is what you see, which is that default experience from MailChimp. MailChimp's great service. They're not doing anything wrong here. But it is far too common to see this kind of thing where it's just a really bad experience for subscribers. So while you want to update your preferences quickly, you're forced into this other kind of workflow, a lot of friction. You have to email another link to yourself before you can update those preferences for security reasons, which are fine. But they don't even have like any information about like what their email is that you're trying to adjust your preferences for. It has this name of their list as database contacts, which MailChimp just pulls in there. Really suboptimal experience for your subscribers if they're hitting this kind of form, which I was going through my inbox earlier today and finding a ton of different examples of this exact scenario where you click the link to manage your preferences and then you have to jump through a whole bunch of hoops. Another common thing that I've seen a lot is forcing people to log into an account to either unsubscribe or update their preferences. You should probably avoid that too. You essentially want to do right by your subscribers and have as little friction as possible for people either unsubscribing or updating their preferences. So the Litmus one, here's an example of what we do, which we've obviously been working on this and updating this over the years. This is the most recent incarnation of it. So this is my personal email address. I don't really want to mess with my work one with Litmus emails. But if you click in to update your preferences on a Litmus email, then you have a couple of different options. You can unsubscribe from all Litmus communications. That's kind of the kill all button over here. But then you can pick which email newsletters you want to hear from. So I might not want to see Litmus product updates, so I can uncheck that. Or I might not care about Litmus Live, even though it's the best email conference in the world, so I might not want to hear from that. And then I can update, my name, my email address, different information about my job title, where I work, what ESP I use, all that stuff. So it's a great way to set those preferences by the subscriber, expose different channels they can subscribe to you on, those different newsletters, and just give them those options so that they can do a better job of kind of customizing that relationship, and you can honor those kind of requests from them to make sure that they're getting what they want from you as a subscriber, as opposed to just that kind of batch and blast mentality, which too many people do in email marketing. This is very similar to our subscribe page as well, which again kind of exposes these different newsletters, allows them to pick what they want to hear about, but a little bit more fine-tuned once they are actually a subscriber. Chobani, everybody's favorite, yogurt maker. They have awesome marketing, awesome emails out there. They obviously have a very good preference center too. So again, you can update your information, your personal information. They even have zip code in here, so they can kind of tailor, product announcements to my geographic location. But they expose all their different products. They expose a bunch of different interests. So I might be interested in recipes and different giveaways, but not interested in company news or this Chopani Cafe. And then they even have different stores that you might want to subscribe to as well that they're obviously partnered with for their product, but you might want to get emails from, Publix or Kroger around me. So you can do that all from that preference center, which is a great experience for your subscribers. This one's from Laughlin Constable, which is a digital agency. Again, they send great emails. It's very well branded. They have this really strong color palette. All their stuff works really well together. But again, here's their preference center where they ask the basic kind of stuff like your email address, your name, your job title, where you work, what industry you actually work in, which is a great way to kind of personalize your emails for those subscribers. And then all of these different interests. So as an agency, they're doing a lot of different things for their clients. So obviously they're talking about those things and those different services they provide, and they do a lot of content marketing. They have a great blog, all that good stuff, so you can pick which ones you're actually interested in. So, I might be interested in design and creative, obviously email marketing. I'm really big into technology and web development. So I'll only get those emails from Laughlin Constable. But the thing they do that's really interesting is they have this kind of free-form field where they ask you to let us know what other topics would be of interest to you. So that's a great way to kind of expose that to your subscribers and make sure that you're actually speaking about the things that they want to hear from you about. So you can kind of keep an eye on that. Hopefully this is monitored. I'm assuming it's monitored, so they can see whether or not, everything's reflected here that their subscribers actually want to hear about. And I think that's a really great way to make sure that you're providing the value that you want to for your subscribers through that preference center. And then the last example is from Charity Water, which is a great nonprofit. Doing great work all around the world, but they just have a really nice looking subscribe or preference center rather, where you can manage these different channels. You can pick which location you happen to be in. These nice little kind of toggles here, which just feels nice. They have great icons in here that are very on brand. Everything they do is really well designed. So I'm glad to see that kind of carry over from their other channels into this preference center, which is a great reminder to, not just stick with the defaults when you're designing your preference center and setting it up, but try to customize it and make sure it's on brand with everything else you're doing, especially your email campaigns, so people aren't left kind of scratching their head about, what email list is this even? Who is this? Why do I care about that relationship? They can see that it's on brand. They know it's you. They trust that it's you. And you build that trust. We've talked about trust banks and subscriber trust and subscriber experiences over at Limis for a long time. So doing this allows you to grow that trust a little bit more with your subscribers. But again, check out that blog post. It's a fantastic overview. Goes into all kinds of different considerations for setting up your own preference center. There's tools out there that allow you to do it. Different ESPs do it different ways. So kind of read through your docs for who you're using to send your campaigns. See what you can and can't do. Maybe build out something custom like we did for our preference center that kind of ties into our ESP through the API. But just make sure you're really doing right by your subscribers, because that's really what it all boils down to, is making sure that you're giving them the tools, the knowledge, the resources they need to be successful in whatever they're doing with you and your brand. So that's going to do it for me today. Thanks for joining me. Quick 15 minutes. We're going to do this every other Monday right here on YouTube. If you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, feel free to press that big red button that you should see on your screen and catch us next time. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about, but I'm thinking it's going to be around different email assumptions that we make as marketers and designers. It's something we've been talking about, is kind of revisiting some of the assumptions that are kind of like best practices or things everybody just takes for granted, and whether or not they still hold true for 2021. So I think I'm probably going to talk about that a little bit next time, which again isn't next Monday, but the week after, every other Monday. And I will talk to everybody later. Cheers.